A subquery is simply a query written inside another query. We can write a subquery in the select clause, we can write a subquery in the from clause, and we can write a subquery in the where clause as well. So let's see it through examples. Suppose I don't want to display customer ID, I want to display customer name, and further assume that we have not studied joins yet. So how can I display a customer name instead of customer ID? I can display a customer name using a subquery. So if instead of customer ID I write here a query, and in that query I write select, let's see the customer. So this is the structure of customer column, customer table. Let's say I pick up the first name from the customer table, select first name from customer, where customer ID is equals to customer ID. Now the question is, this customer ID is from the payment table, so to avoid the confusion I will write here select first name from customer, where customer ID is equals to payment dot customer ID, which basically means that where the value of customer ID from the customer table will be equal to value of customer ID from the payment table. And let's say I want to name this column as customer name. Now we are displaying customer names instead of customer ID and the total rent paid by each customer. So we have picked up the customer name using a subquery. So here this is an example of writing a subquery inside the select clause. Now let's see how can we use a subquery inside the from clause. Instead of picking all records from the payment table, let's pick up records from the payment table on the basis of a criteria. Now the example that I'm going to write can be written without a subquery using a criteria and the where clause, but I'm writing it using the subquery sentence just for the demonstration purposes. Now we will see how to write a subquery inside the from clause. So let's change this query. Select customer ID, so I'm taking a simple example. Rent paid from. Now let's replace this payment table by a select query from payment, where payment date between let's give two dates, that is from 1st January 2006 to 31st December 2006, 0101, and 2006 1201. And let's name this subquery as, or give an alias to this subquery as payment, PMT. Now here I have written a subquery in the from class, although this query is for demonstration purposes, because this subquery will only pick a record from the payment table uh, between 1st January 2006 to 1st December 2006. Uh, we can pick record between these two dates by applying a where clause as well. But just for demonstration purposes, I have written it as a subquery. So let's check this out. So this is how we can write a subquery in a from clause. This subquery will return the result to the outer query, and then the outer query will select from these results these two columns and will apply a group function on the amount column, and then the group by using the group by clause, and then there is an criteria on the group function by using this having clause. You should be careful that while writing a subquery in the from clause, you should must include all those fields that are being used in the outer query. So just for the purpose of clarity, suppose I remove this field, which is customer ID, from the subquery. Because this subquery is being used as a table, these results will be used by the outer query. Outer query is trying to read customer ID and applying some function of amount, but the inner query, which is a subquery, is not is not outputting customer ID as the field. So we will get an error here. And unknown column customer ID in field list. Now this error is from the outer query, because outer query is not finding the customer ID field uh, from the inner query or the subquery in the from clause, because a subquery written in a from clause act as a table. It is just like we enter a table name here, and that table doesn't have the field by the name customer ID, so you will get the same error here. So this is how we write a subquery in the from clause, and in the same way we can write a subquery in the where clause as well.